Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about who will the Utah Jazz get in free agency. So before we start today's video, I want to hear those thoughts down below. What do you guys think? And obviously, the first thing we got to talk about is the Utah Jazz and Mike Conley. This is what everyone cares about. This is what they're looking at, and they're like, okay, so are the Jazz going to be able to keep Mike Conley, especially with the situation that next year they're already $22 million over the cap, okay? And Mike Conley is going to cost them 30 million, I believe, maybe 25 at least. And you got Boyan at 19.5, or he'll be at 19.5 in the following year, but 18.7 right now. Jordan Clarkson's on a cheap deal. So what I believe is they're going to move on from Derek Favors, and I would want them to keep Royce O'Neal. If they can bring back Georges Niang, that'd be awesome on like very on a minimum salary, which would probably be similar to what we saw Ersan Ilyasova pay, like 1.3, 1.2 they'll pay him. I would be fine with that. And Jawan Morgan and Trent Forrest could come back, but Mike Conley, if they bring him back, I guess they would have to. Matt Thomas would probably be cut, and if they aren't, I like my uni, but if they don't feel confident in there, they could. I don't think they'll cut any. Really, Derek Favors would bring them down, and they have his rights. So I don't know if they have his bird rights. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Mike Conley? Do they have Mike Conley's bird rights? If they do, they could go over the salary, which I would just do a 2 year deal this year and the following year, give you guys a 2 year window. Now, you could argue if he leaves, they could look internally Joe Ingles, or they could draft the point guard with the 30th pick. But their options is, their mid-level exception. They would have to do like maybe a 3 year deal. That would be their most they could do is a 3 year deal, 18.5, $7.5 million. So understanding that Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, and Spencer Dinwiddie will all make more than that, the options they could replace Mike Conley with aren't impressive, and they would be T.J. McConnell, 8.6 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, and 3.7. He just signed a deal where it was a 2 year, $7 million deal with the Pacers in 2019 with an option, and I think it had an option. I don't know, but either way, he's a free agent this year, and he just made $7 million in those 2 years. So he'd probably take that 7.5 in 1 year, or over 18.5 over 3 years. There's also Caruso, who's would provide them with an immediate upgrade defensively. He won't give them the same scoring ability. So Caruso's the better shooter than McConnell. McConnell is going to give you a good defender guy, a Kroger version of an all-around all-star point guard. While Caruso has been shooting 40% from three, he could be in line with a guy who isn't a scoring threat or making plays like Mike Conley, but he's equally or a better defender, and he can hit the three ball. There's Patty Mills, who I doubt would go to leave San Antonio. Goran Dragic, they wouldn't be going for an older player. They'd be going younger. Chris Dunn has a player option, and he probably is going to keep that. Raul Neto is more of a two guard with point guard like skills. So I really think their two best options right here are Caruso or McConnell. And I think if you look at the free agency market, Torrey Craig or Jakar Sampson would be ideal, and a backup center along the lines of a Gorgie Dang. Yeah, Gorgie Dang would be ideal. We don't know how much he's going to get, but imagine Gorgie Dang replacing Derek Favors, bringing him on like a $2 million deal, and if he could bring in, I'm going with, I don't know if you go Caruso or McConnell. I think Caruso would be the better option. You get out, Alex Caruso and TJ McConnell are probably both players that, they're probably close to their ceiling. But Alex Caruso, you could argue, could be something we haven't seen. I'm going Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is 27, and he's been in the league for a few years. But with that being said, I think he's a guy that if he's given more of a usage rate, he easily could be 10 points per game, like 10 points per game and getting 3 rebounds, dishing out maybe 4 or 5 assists, and easily steal a game. So I'm definitely I'm on the Caruso train right now, okay? I think Caruso really would be their best option if they were looking for a guy to replace Mike Conley. But I want them to keep Mike Conley, and even if they keep Mike Conley, trade Derek Favors and try to bring in a guy like Gorgie Dang. I think that's their best option, and I think they would definitely benefit from that so much. Imagine a starting lineup of the starting lineup probably next year: Caruso. You put out Donovan Mitchell. You could do Boyan and Joe Ingles. Yes, you lose some rebounding and Rudy Gobert, and then off the bench you have Clarkson, O'Neal, Dang, and you could also then bring in Udoka Azubuike, could be rotating there. Mayuni could get a bigger role. Elijah Hughes could also get a bigger role. And then you also brought back Georges Niang on a cheap deal. Wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. I think he would definitely like improve like the situation. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I think Gorgie Dang would be great for this team because I think I liked what I saw from him in San Antonio. He seems like a guy who could actually be successful as a prototypical not four, but modern day five. I gotta hear your guys' thoughts. It just seems like the opinion might not be the best on him, but I think he's a guy that they could really, really benefit from. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Little video right here. I'm probably gonna milk this to 8 minutes, but Mike Conley is just the hardest thing to think about because Derek Favors is gotta go. Joe Ingles staying. I think Mike Conley is the biggest question mark. And you don't know, because losing him would be huge. And I think Caruso and Gorgie Dang could minimize the results of that, but I don't know if we could sit here and be like, they're still going to be an effective team without our guy, Mike Conley. So I'm very scared. But I think Caruso, if anybody, out of that like mid-level exception, realistically, that they could get, would be the most ideal scenario for them. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on that one. I think it's just a really rough scenario that they're in because of the cap space and all that good stuff. So, it's just fucked. So let me hear your thoughts down below, guys. Peace out.